And, I knew even being seen walking with a boy was a big deal.
Yeah.
But, transition years, I am a teenager, transitioning for high school. And then that is when I met this young man. And
your knight in shining armor.
My knight in shining armor. And it's important for me to mention the period between back in the day, you didn't have to go to school like in January after transition.
It was Zuko Feb.
Yes, it was Feb, whatever. So I didn't get to go to school with the rest of the people when they were going because my mom was struggling financially. So I had to wait until she figures out finances. And I really waited for a long time. And it's during this wait time, when the parent has gone to work, I have 3 brothers, all of them were in school. So I am actually left home alone. And I had all the time in the world. And that is where this neighbor guy, he was just right across our neighborhood. We started a conversation, at the time an innocent friendship. And then this guy started feeling yes.
And you see this guy is giving you attention.
Attention. And then this is something you've never received. And unfortunately for me, my dad passed when I was so young. And I think that, that male affection had never been there. And then there's this guy who thinks you're the most beautiful woman he's ever met, So
the person that gave you the attention that you didn't get from your dad, when the first man that showed you that affection, you were like, let's bounce.
Yes. And at the time, honestly, I didn't even think, it was not a relationship or a romantic relationship. I knew this was just normal friendship, okay? It was a nice guy who I kind of liked, but I also knew that we had to have boundaries. At that time, when it began as an innocent friendship. But of course, what happens is, the more time you spend together, the more the emotions grow, and one thing led to another, and boom.
Then you got pregnant.
Then I got pregnant.
So, did you know that? Okay, how was that sex conversation? Like, how did it? I presume you were innocent. Was there a conversation prior to, in terms of? Are you going to use protection?
What?
There's things like HIV.
Okay, I hear you. It is important for me to mention. As I said, I was a church girl. I knew sex before marriage was first a sin to God, and it was completely a sin to my mother. So it wasn't something I had planned to do. And I had made it clear with the guy, and he knew, and he was like, I respect that and everything. And during we met when I was 14 in Form 1. So the whole year, we actually had boundaries. It was just a friendship, But of course, by this time, I really, really was in love. And then my mom noticed that I was changing. I never, I was not attending church as usual. And she decided, this girl, I was in a day school. It's time. She had some money. She decided I'm going to take her to a boarding school.
Oh, so you were in a day school?
Yes.
And that's how you and your boyfriend then, got to spend a lot of time together.
Because he was also in a day school, and this school was in town.
He was in high school?
He was in high school, finishing. We met when he was finishing. Yeah, he was in high school. We'd meet in town, come back home together, go. My mom just picked it up and she was like, this girl is becoming different. And I think she was onto something. And she decided, you know what, I have some money, I'm going to take her to.
So your mom felt that something about you had changed.
Yes.
And she felt that if she took you away from your situation there, it would help you.
Yes. She definitely knew the change had something to do with this city school that I had gone.
She didn't mention why she felt like you.
No, these parents make decision and they say moving forward. And I always wanted to go to a boarding school, so I was excited about it. And I remember going to my boyfriend and saying, hey, I'm going to this school and this school. And he was like, okay, good for you. But of course, there's like, I'll miss you, all those kinds of things. And then during that time, honestly, my mom was very tough. I could say maybe her sixth sense was telling her she needs to. But I remember it vividly. It is January 2004. We've had a whole day of shopping, mattresses, all those things you need to go to school because the following day I was reporting to a boarding school. So we shop and finish. And then at around 6 p.m. we come back home with my mom. And when we're settling down, she realizes, there's something we had forgotten. And she's like, now, you're the lighter one, you're the baby. you're going.
Yeah.
And she gave me, I have not forgotten, she was like, I am sending you to the supermarket, which was like 10 minutes from our house. And she told me, I am giving you 15 minutes. 15 minutes are enough. I know. She utaona 15 minutes. Now this whole week, because of this preparation, sort of me and my mom were always together, so I had not even gotten the time to go and tell the guy, you know, that I'm leaving or say goodbye. So in my head, when I was given this 15 minutes, I was like, this is the moment I'm going to at least rush past through, because I'm leaving tomorrow. And truly that's what I did. I rushed out, and as I mentioned earlier, he was my neighbor. So I just passed through their place. And as I was passing through, I found him. Usually, in his house, there was his twin brother and others. But on this specific day, he was alone. And of course, I went, found him, and then I was like, I'm leaving. And he's like, I'm going to miss you, Nini. I want to cut the long story short and say, it is this 10 minutes.
Wow.
I keep remembering, I remember it so vividly, because it is this 5 minutes. One thing led to another. And I remember leaving his house hurriedly, wondering what just happened. And I ran to the supermarket. You actually don't know what you're doing. That's the truth.
Not even that. Like, I can just imagine. What did you do? You know, that's the thing that's on my mind at 15. You've never had sex before. You had sex in 10 minutes. It's painful, right? Was it even romantic?
I actually remember living there wondering, how could anyone be? How could anyone like sex? It's like so horrible. I went wondering, or of course there was those emotions for, or I'm the one who's not normal. But also I was feeling really guilty, because I knew, as I said, I was a Christian since I was young. I really knew this is something I didn't want to do. So I was fast beating myself for, oh my God, what did I just do? And I remember, I went to the supermarket and came back home, finished, went to my bedroom, and I literally, prayed, and I told God, I'm so sorry for what has just happened. I promise it will never happen again. And I was now even more excited that I was leaving. I was like, I'm leaving tomorrow, forget about this. And that's how I left for school.
Okay. So taking you back again to that 10 minutes.
Maria, you're excited.
No, this is really important. You know why?
Okay.
Because it's at this point, it's the 10 minutes that you had that changed your entire life.
Absolutely.
Right? So I want to see, there's so many young people who have that 10-minute experience, and some people don't even have the option. Some people, for some teens, it's rape, some people are defiled, in that tender age. So in this moment, I just want to ask, did you know what sex was about?
At that time, honestly, I can't say I really knew. I can't say I knew. Looking back, I was like, I just stumbled on it. It's something that happens, and you're not too sure how to process it. You don't know what has just happened, and you want to forget about it. And I agree with you. I feel like a lot of times people think that's the thing, people who get pregnant early, it's because maybe they were being promiscuous or something like that. But that's not the case. A lot of times, actually, it's out of their ignorance. Because you'd find the others who are actually being promiscuous know what they are doing enough to even use protection, or to be careful. But these others are the ones who have zero idea. Something just happens on them, and I think that is unfortunate for us, and even for the parents. It means there is no, you've not talked about it with your child.
So I feel like at that age of 15, because we have already been introduced to reproductive health and sex education, I feel like the young people, the teens really need to be given content in terms of the nitty-gritties of what sexual health, sexual reproduction is about. Not skeleton or book knowledge. But there is really that time spent, in conversation between parents.
Only say, you're not told why, you're just told don't have sex. Don't do this. But there's no one really processes with you, why is this wrong, or what happens after this. No one really. Yes, and that's it.
Understand why.
You don't understand why. And even in school, when it's being taught, it's not taught like, you're just told this will happen, you'll have a baby, and that's it. But I think it's important that the teenagers are actually allowed to have real conversations where they can also ask questions, give their opinions, and it's a discussion. It's a conversation that gets them to a place of understanding.
Right. I agree. Absolutely agree with you. So now you're pregnant.
And now I've gone to school. I don't know I'm pregnant.
Wait, let me tell that story, because you have a YouTube channel, and I just laughed watching it, because this lady, didn't know that she was pregnant until she was on month 7.
It's for real, yo.
Yani, the baby kicked. She was in class. I would tell that story.
No, see, I have gone to boarding school.
Yeah.
And I get there and I'm excited that my mom could afford it and I'm feeling guilty of what happened. So I am completely focused and determined, to do my best. So I study hard. Like really, I study hard. I'm getting my A's. I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
And then I missed my periods, which to a lot of people, it would be like automatic for you to guess.
To assume that you're pregnant.
Yes, but that didn't shock me because previously, like just a few months from then, I had missed my periods.
Yeah.
And my mom and I had gone to the hospital and we had been told, I'm just a teenager who is growing, so the hormones and everything.
Yeah.
And they came back. So when it happened again, I was like, I've been there.
Yeah.
It's normal. There's nothing to even worry about. And then interesting, I didn't have those things, like morning sicknesses, none of that. No. I was an active girl in school. Everything was just perfect.
Yeah.
Until on month, I think 6 there, I met my boyfriend's sister. The one person who put the doubt in me. And we were just having conversation and she was like, what happened between you? Because I wasn't seeing the brother anymore. But then when I came back, I was like, I am done.
First time you guys had intimacy.
Yes.
That was it.
When I went back to school, in my head, I was like, that's it. I'm done with boys. That's not who I am. That's not what I've been raised to do. So when I came back this time for holiday, I would be busy in the house, church, busy. So during, I think, month 6, month 5 there, I don't remember very well. I remember meeting the sister. She was my friend and she was older.
Yeah.
And we were having conversation about, why did you guys break up? And I was like, no, So I explained to her what happened. I told her, this happened.
You were that open?
I mean, she was my friend. I was like, this is what happened. So I decided I'm done. And she was like,
let me ask you something first. Sorry to interject you.
It's okay.
This whole time, between the time you had sex and month 6, had you even told anyone in school you've had sex?
No.
Or was it you kept it to yourself?
No, I kept it. It is something I was embarrassed about. Actually, the first person I told about this was that girl, the sister.
Right.
First, because she was older than me, so I used to respect her opinion, and we just had good chemistry. So I told her. And she was like, oh, and what happened? I told her, oh, nothing really happened. I went to school. She told me, so your periods came. I was like, no. And I remember her looking at me for, what do you mean, no?
What?
I was like, by then they have never.
So let's take a break.
Yes.
And we'll be back with this conversation. We are back. We were talking to Wahu and we are discussing the issue of teenage pregnancy. And Wahu happens to be a teenage mother. She has a son who's 16 years now?
Yeah, turning 16 in 3 months.
Yeah. So you were telling us, so you discovered after 7 months that you were pregnant.
Yeah.
And the sister to your son's father is the one who put
pointed it out at the time.
Yeah.
And then I later found out and confirmed that indeed I was pregnant. And so I followed through. My mom, this is important to mention, didn't even know I'm pregnant until 2 weeks to delivery, like seriously.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I shocked my mother. Wow. The things kids can do to their parents sometimes. It never showed. I think when you're young, somehow your body, I don't know. But it didn't show until August. I went home for holidays, like normal holidays. And then my son is born in September.
Now, let me ask you, what was the feeling, when you first discovered that you're pregnant? What was that feeling?
Oh my God. I was completely shattered in every way possible. I grew up as an ambitious girl. Yeah. I had all these dreams and I knew there are different things I wanted to do. I honestly saw myself as one who inspired my community. And to think about pregnancy, it meant that first, I felt like I couldn't be that anymore. I couldn't be the girl people are told to be like this one. I really didn't know that if I was going to continue with education. I just felt like everything.
So basically, so many questions, so much uncertainty. Exactly. Was there a time when you considered, but it was already too late, you couldn't abort?
Actually, yeah. That was when it was in the picture. Yeah. When the guy found out, that is one of the options he gave at the time. If we could consider this
at 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's dangerous.
I didn't know that at the time, but inside, I grew up a Christian. I honestly knew this was wrong. And if we had time, I could tell you, I mean, of the different episodes we went through. Maybe you'll call me back here again and I can tell you all about it.
That I've known you for long, but that you had considered abortion.
Long story. I mean, if I get into it right now, we're going to spend the rest of But yeah, I had considered it. Because honestly, it felt like the only out.
Right.
I wanted my life back. And at the time, it looked like something that was promising to give me my life back. Obviously, we didn't follow through. Thank God we didn't. Because I have an amazing, amazing boy now.
So in hindsight, you would say that it was the best decision that you made?
Absolutely, absolutely. My son has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. I mean, it's the best gift heaven has given me. And even though it was really tough bringing him up, it was really tough during that period. I mean, as a teenager, a Christian teenager, getting pregnant, you go through a lot. First, there's rejection from your friends, from your church community. Even your family treats you differently because now you're sort of, you've messed up. Right. So it was really hard. However, he's brought so much joy that I completely...
Eugene lights you up.
Totally.
Yes, and you know what? You are such an amazing mother.
Thank you.
I mean, I see what you do with him and, you know, the relationship that you guys have. It's absolutely amazing. And we're bringing Eugene right now. So we can sit down and have a perspective from him. You know, how it is growing up with you as a mom. Niaje Eugene? Makafiti?
Yeah.
Umepiga luku? So, Eugene, we are on Confessions with Maria with your mom, and you're our guest as well. Can you tell us something about yourself?
As you know, I'm Eugene. I was born on September 26th, which means basically I'm turning 16, like September.
In September, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're still 15 though.
But I'm turning 16. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a round off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So your mama said so many amazing things about you, and now I want to ask you, what's the one thing that you truly admire about your mom?
Personally, like, iko vile she's outgoing, like she tries to make things better, not just for herself, like for others. Like she does things for others mostly. Like she organizes things that benefit others sana. Yeah, that's more.
She's selfless, yeah. So how do you feel growing in this family context where you have your mom, she's a single mom, and having gotten you at an early age, and she's very vocal about it?
Honestly, hapo hakuna shida for me, like the way like she's vocal about it. It's just all of it, you're like her story, it empower to like other people.
Yeah.
Like in a certain way, yani inaonesha like God's got you. God hapana like he'll take you from here to there. Like usi give up. Maisha ni ngumu lakini endelea. From my perspective, like being raised by a single mom, kumekuwa tuna bado problems in the way, but bado iko like vitu mingi ndio mzuri. Mimi naweza sema personally. Good.
There's more good.
There's more good. Yeah.
But you look like a very fantastic young man. She's doing a good job with you. Sindio?
Yeah.
Ama she's huku trying she's holding a gun to your head. She told you say nice things when you come on set.
Or you won't have food, right?
Yeah. So has the relationship between you guys always been this amazing?
Honestly, as far as I can remember, I don't think anything's changed.
Yeah.
Like, we've been like this for kitambo sana. Yeah.
Wahoo, if you were to change things, would you have preferred to have a father-mother kind of a...
Absolutely. I think every child deserves to be raised in a proper family. I mean, Eugene could say, I mean, it's okay now, but as he has mentioned, there's been challenges. I mean, every child should be brought up in a loving environment where there's support from both the father and mother. So yes, if I was to make a choice, I would have definitely wanted a different setup, but this is our reality.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we try and make it as best as possible because this is our reality. However, as you said, I do my best to try and first talk to teenagers, because I really think that if we empower them to make better choices, then we empower the entire community and the next generation, then we'll be able to benefit from some of the things we didn't benefit. So I'm really passionate about that. I hold boy camps sometimes, even though I'm not a boy, and girls, and my intention is to try and educate the boy child, educate the girls, specifically the girls, because I'm more aware of what happens to a girl and the pain that comes with one choice. You make one bad choice and the consequences that even though for a long time, that even though right now someone can look at us and say, oh, they look nice, they should know that it's not been easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah, the journey has been crazy, but by God's grace we are here. However, it's not something I'd like to see any teenager go through. I mean, if there's anything I could do to ensure that no other child goes through it, then I would definitely do it.
Eugene, you're 15 years old.
Yeah.
How would it be for you if you can imagine being a parent right now?
Not possible.
It's not possible.
You being a dad.
But the thing is, it's happening. It's the numbers have spiked up sporadically over the last 3-4 months. What do you think is the thing that is causing these teenage pregnancies? When you eliminate rapes and such kinds of, but just in a normal couple, young people relationships.
Honestly, there's just one basic answer to all that.
Yeah.
Ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, basically, it's not like they don't know that's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's just people think, nah, that's not me.
Yeah.
They don't think it will happen to them.
They think you think you're too young to be pregnant.
Yeah. So you just, you overrule, unajitoanga tu kwa hizo numbers, unacheka kando. You think you're special. But in reality.
So, based on your interactions with your friends, with your peers at your age, are young people having sex?
That I know, yes, it's going on. It happens. Yes.
Are you? No, I had to.
That's a valid question. So one other thing, we've identified that most of these teenage relationships happen because there's communication breakdown as well. You've talked about ignorance, and your mom also mentioned the same thing. Do you think there's a way information is not being disseminated to the teenagers that they can understand, in the sense of there's so many things that you stand to lose at such an early age? If you get pregnant?
Me?
Either of you could answer.
Do you want to go first? Okay. I honestly think so. I think in a family setup, a lot of us have not yet embraced to have this sex education talk, which I think is completely important. The best place for any child to get information is back at home. You want, because there you're able to give the correct information. But what a lot of us are doing is we're allowing our children to get information from outside.
Social media,
peers.
So you don't know what you take your children somewhere just to be informed by other people. And therefore you don't form that relationship with them where you can be their voice of reason, where they can feel comfortable to come and tell you, their fears, their insecurities.
And actually want to also say, you would rather have, as a parent who is busy, we know this, it's 2020, parents can get really busy. I actually applaud any parent who attempts to actually take their child to someone who can be like a mentor to them and have this conversation. There are those who are having zero conversation. The conversation is not happening at home, and the child does not have a mentor or someone who intentionally has this conversation with them. Because some parents completely don't know how to have it. And I keep telling those kinds of parents, if you don't know how to have it, bring them to me. I know how to have that conversation. Are you hearing?
Yeah, you've been there.
Yes, I've been there. And that is why sometimes when I have the girl camps or all this comes with the kids, I'm like telling the parents, you may not have the resources or you don't know how, I know how. Make them available. So for every parent at home, if you really can't, the best person to actually talk about it is you. But if you really don't know how or you can't, at least look for someone credible, someone you can trust, and then allow for your child to have a relationship with them that it's open and that they can learn. I don't know what teenagers you're thinking.
Okay, for me,
Yeah.
I would say it's like basically what you're saying is true.
Yeah.
Because communication here now as mostly it's the most difficult thing now teenagers. Like Adi kusema, it's not always on the parent. Sometimes ni parent anaweza kuwa hapo, but for you to master your courage umwende.
For you to take the initiative.
Yes, it's hard. So sometimes I think like parents should like make that attempt.
It's having open channels of communication where the parent allows their child to speak to them freely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like mostly in this African wanapanga wazazi.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate. I mean, how you're afraid of the one person who should be offering guidance.
So in that light as well, what would you like to tell a young girl who's probably 15 right now and is feeling like, I don't know where my life is heading. Even there's cases of guys who want to commit suicide because the society, how will the society take this? How will my parents and my friends? And also, what would you tell a parent who's taking care of a teenage girl who's pregnant right now?
For the girl who's already pregnant, I can confidently tell you it's not the end of the world. Like, there's hope for you. I mean, it's going to be hard because actions have consequences. Your life is not going to be like that of any other teenager. When teenagers are going to watch movies, you're probably going to be changing diapers. However, that doesn't mean that now your future is destroyed. I mean, you can still get through this. You will go through this tough season, but eventually you will get through it. And for the parents, a lot of times I feel it's unfortunate that we are more ashamed about what the community and the society will think, that we forget that this is our child and our first responsibility is to be able to guide them and embrace them. This is when they are most vulnerable. I mean, the whole world outside there is throwing stones at them. They themselves know, ask me, they already know that they have messed up. So they are already beating themselves up. This is your time to embrace them and now have real candid conversation. Talk about what are the next steps for their future. Talk about how can you support them to get through this. Because this will determine how they pick up. This will determine either they become successful or they actually fail. But for the girl who is not pregnant yet, I have a message for you too. As my son mentioned, we all think that can't happen to us. I didn't think it would happen to me. I mean, but I am telling you, one choice, one stupid choice can completely change everything. And can change the course of your life. So put the boundaries, I know you may not be intending to go have sex, but that visit to that guy's house alone could change to something else. So don't meet guys in private places, meet them in public spaces. Do whatever it takes to protect yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Waki, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Eugene. You have given so much insight to the young people outside there.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, guys, for making time to have
Thank
this
you.
conversation. Thank you so much for tuning in to Confessions with Maria. Let's meet yet again for another conversation next Saturday. Stay tuned and follow us on our social media platforms so that we can keep all these conversations going.